Hey everyone, we're going to take a look at two short examples of how to make connections with algebraic equations and tables and tape diagram. In this first example, we have a tape diagram right here, and you'll notice that we don't know what x is and we don't know what y is. That means no one's telling us what x is equal to and what y is equal to. And so the cool thing with this is my suggestion is I would have you play with this tape diagram by putting some numbers, okay? So we can make up any numbers we want because no one's gonna tell us what x is equal to, right? So let me make up the number 5, okay? Let me pretend this is 5. So what is y going to equal to? Well, one thing to notice is that if you add the green rectangle and the yellow rectangle, they have the same length as this pink rectangle. Green plus yellow is equal to pink, okay? So 5 plus 4 is equal to 9, okay? So try some numbers if the variables are confusing. And the nice thing I could do too is I could draw my own table and put these numbers right here. When x is 5, I know y has to be 9, okay? Now, another thing I would do is I would just make up some more numbers, okay? What if x was 100? Y would have to be, well, green plus yellow is pink, so 100 plus 4 is 104. And I could add that to my table, okay? Now I can keep on going as much as I want, but really just a few numbers should be helpful. Okay, why don't I try 2? What does y have to equal to? Well, y has to equal 6, okay? So what's going on in this situation? Well, if we stare at our tape diagram, you can realize that we're taking x, we're adding 4, and we're getting y. We're taking the x, and we add 4, and we always get y, okay? Now, we've been talking about how this tape diagram is connected to this equation. But can we also connect this equation back to the table? Like, for example, is there really plus 4? Like, is it always adding 4 to x to get y? Is it always plus 4 to the x to make it equal to y? Let's see if the plus 4 is here also, in our table. Well, look at this. Hey, I add 4 to this x, and I get y. I add 4 to this x, and I'm getting y. And I'm also adding 4 to this x, excuse my writing, and I get the y. So yeah, it is x plus 4 equals y, okay? I would highly, highly encourage you to do this drawing, to change x and y to numbers that you can play with, to make your table, and then hopefully that leads you to an equation. And try to connect these 3 representations together, okay? So I hope that... All right, I got one more example for you. So here's a tape diagram right here. And the cool thing about this tape diagram is that if we look at the g's, it's the same length from here to here as the h. So these 3 g's is equal to one of these h's. 3 g's is equal to one of these h's. So if we actually take that and write it as an equation, you might say this: 3 of these g's equals an h. Or you might say 3 of these g's is the same thing as h. And by the way, this is 3 groups of g. 3 groups of g. 1 group of g, 2 groups of g, 3 groups of g. Okay? So here's one quick way to go from a tape diagram to an equation. Okay? But now, what I want to do is try to make a table. Okay? So let's make a table. Now, with the table, I'm going to put g and h here. And by the way, we don't know what g is. and we don't know what h is. So we're just going to make up some numbers, okay? So let's pretend g is 0, okay? I'm just going to make up any old number, and I'm going to say g is 0. Well, if g is 0, then this has to be 0, and this has to be 0. So now what's h equal to? Well, 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. So when g is 0, h has to be 0. Okay? We're going to do 2 more because a table has more than this, right? Usually. So let's put a couple more numbers. I don't know, let's pretend g is 2 and let's pretend g is 3. Okay? I can put any numbers I want here. So if g is 2, then this is 2, and this is 2, and this g is also 2. So what does h have to be? 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. So when g is 2, h is equal to 6. This is what that means. Okay? All right, let's keep going. When g is 3, h has to be 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9. Okay? When g is 3, h is equal to 9. Okay? So overall, my recommendations are change the variables to numbers. Change these letters to numbers. Okay? Because a lot of us like working with numbers anyway. And then make your own table. Make your own table and try any numbers you want for g, or try any numbers for h. And then see if you can come up with equations or an equation that matches with this, with the table and with the tape diagram. You should be able to connect all 3 of these representations together: the tape diagram, the equations, and the table. Okay? And by the way, as we keep trying to understand this better, do you see how this connects with the table? Okay? What it's saying here, so let's look at this equation. It says take g, take 3 and multiply it times g, and you get h. Take 3, multiply it by g, and you get h. Is that right? Is that correct? Let's try it. Take 3, multiply it by the g, and you get h. Is that true? Let's test it. 3 times 0 is 0. Okay. How about here? 3 times g. Take 3, multiply it by the g, and do I get it equal to h? Oh yeah, 3 times 2 is 6. What about this one? Take 3, multiply it by the g, and I should get it equal to h. What about this? Is this true? 3 times 3 equals 9? Oh yeah, that's true as well. So this equation matches with the table. Okay? And so I hope you can see how all of these 3 representations are connected to each other. All right, I hope this video helps. Let us know if you need some more advice. Take care. Bye.